Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Tetragrammaton, where we are playing It is turn 68. This game is, whoo, ooh, it's a going. Yeah, it's a fucking going. Heyo, Odie boy. Sorry, I got distracted. You gotta pet the Odies. Gotta pet the Odes. All right, let's jump into the turn, shall we? So, a bit of stuff going on. Zuriel the Giant Mummy has claimed the Throne of the First Age. Okay, gotcha. Throne of the First Age in play. We have summoned a Mound Fiend, and there is no anything happening. Nice. Good. Fantabulous. We have cast Haruspex and found nothing. We searched the Holy See for magic sites, found nothing. And then we have a number of battles. Us attacking Pangea, Pangea attacking us. Let us see what the result of that is. All the way down to the battle in Hall Woods, which will last. So, we've got a battle in Wick Forest. Where we are just raiding against some PD. This is actually a fair amount of PD, though. But it's nothing too threatening, so our Ishib, who's kind of getting badass because he's got a bunch of experience now, right? Like, he's got 3 chevrons, so he gets +3 defense. He's got +3 attack. He's, I don't think he gets precision or magic or protection or magic resistance off of that. He gets morale, right? So that's good. Less likely for him to rout. And he gets precision, which is kind of irrelevant. But he just comes in swinging, booking people up. Those were heavy infantry. Smacks the shit out of this fucking Minotaur. And now he's fatigued, so we do still run into that, right? Even with his Boots of the Messenger, he is not fatigue neutral, so that is somewhat dangerous. That's why these guys are thugs. Okay, so Wick Forest, very nice. We're not gonna watch all these, or else it'll probably get a little long. So we pinged in Sodarth, but we were beaten. He actually did have some province defense here. We were attacked in the Holy See, where we just actually did some side searching, so this guy's all on his little old lonesome. And that's a lot of undead. Holy poop, that's a lot of undead. A lot of soulless. And all we have here is 1 province defense and this little lone Ishib, and he has no... Now, if he had some the water gems, maybe a water elemental, right? But he's got nothing, so let's see what he does. He water powers, ice shields. What's ice shield do? Ice shield is protection 7. Cast ice shield. Okay, so it's just protective force 20. So 50% chance of reducing incoming damage by 20%. But it doesn't work against armor negation. That's cool. Holy Avenger comes up, Liquid Body comes up, Quickness comes up. He's got like no fatigue. He didn't give a shit because he's water 4 right now. Quickness comes up, Sermon of Courage comes up, Blessing comes up. Jesus, this man. Okay. And Protection comes up, Water Shield comes up. Holy shit, what's Water Shield? I don't even know. Fuck. Moss Body comes up. Holy fuck. Okay. And now he starts Final Resting, and this deletes. Now, if only he had been Final Resting the entire time, right? And now he's kind of hit this point where he's at 100 fatigue, right? So he keeps dropping in and out, basically. Now, he's got a shit ton of buffs on him. But with all of the stuff... Oh, he took a hit. Ooh, nice final rest. Oh, another nice one. Oh, he doesn't have regeneration or anything like that. The armies of Pangaea are routed. Here's the thing, though. These are soulless. They don't give a fuck. They're not going to rout. Here's another thing, though. He doesn't have any fucking commanders on the field, does he? I don't really know what's up with this. He has no commanders on the field. So, I don't know why these guys are attacking to begin with. I thought they have to be, you know, led. Otherwise, they decay. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. But eventually, our morale breaks. And we're so close. We're so close. Our morale breaks. We run off the field. Fortunately, this mage who fought like a bouse does actually survive. So he retreats successfully. Oh, I guess it was led by a soulless. There was a soulless leader among them. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, so we won in the Holy See. We had a battle in Olatova. This is another Ishib. Take a look at how he did real quick. Goes through. This is simple. Oop. Oop. Fucking self. Delete, delete. The Shield of Gleaming Gold is a nice additional layer of defense. Oop. 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 Fucking, it's nice to see these Ishibs at work, honestly. Like, I have not used, I've thugged with Ishibs before, but I don't know. I haven't used them this extensively, I guess, in the past. I have these visions, these ideas, again, I should not do this, right? But I have these ideas of, like, Ishibs with little super blesses on them. Our undefended province in Carrion has been conquered. We have been attacked in Defaros by a shit ton of harpies, right? Ruh-roh. And then there's a battle in Troia where our Yeti Shaman comes in and, oh my goodness, watch this. Watch this beast, man. Okay, so whole bunch of harpies, some meteorite garden. These guys are scary, right? Those guys are strong, but everything else is kind of whatever, right? But he goes in, Strength of Gaia, Iron Skin, Temper Flesh, Summon Earth Power, and it smacks those burbs, and those burbs are like, nah, nope. Nope, 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 nope. They turn right the fuck around. This guy is a monster. 30 protection, very high regeneration, resistances, chill, fear. He's a big scary man. Yeah. And he hits really hard too with that firebrand. And he is fatigue neutral. He's got 7 reinvigoration because of his earth power. Legions of Steel's up. So now he's at 33 protection. I don't think he's going to be able to catch in... Oh, no, I'm lying. I think he catches one of these meteorite guard. Oh, the guy's on fire. He's like, no, not me. You don't have to outrun the bear, you just have to outrun your friends. Okay, so that was fun. The Yeti Shaman kicking some ass. And then there's a battle in Perenna. We ping on Perenna, and he stayed. So our Enkidu Scout retreats actually into the fort, amusingly enough. And then we have a battle. The battle. Battle in the Fortress of Hallwood. So let's jump into this, shall we? This is the big one for the turn. We got our big ol' army, whole bunch of fucking Yetis, scary ass motherfuckers. We got a bunch of infantry, a mass of mages, terrifying amount of, for me, terrifying amount of mages. So much Thunderstrike, so little time. Over here, we've got an interesting assortment, right? We've got some Manids, some Militia, Soulless Warriors, some Revelers, and we've got a mix of mages in here. A couple of Pans. Pans are big boys. These guys can do some crazy shit. They are very, very good. We've got a White Minotaur in here, right? We've got a couple of other mages. We've got this Enchanter, real cool astral nature mage, right? We've got the Hierophantides. Let's see how this turns out. We're going to do a big overarching battle. We're just going to play it through. Okay, so immediately right off the bat, we get Divine Blessing off for both armies. We also get Frostfiend. And we get our Arrowfiend, I believe, and we get Wind Guide up, all in rapid succession. Our Storm power goes up, our Mass Protection goes up, our Mass Regeneration goes up, our Natural Storm goes up. We get a whole bunch of Elementals out onto the field. The Thunderstrike spam begins. The Fog Warriors comes out. Just mass deletion from the Thunderstrikes. Holy shit. Deleted. Just, god damn, that is a pleasure to watch. We got Air Elementals down in the middle of things. We get into some Blade Wind spam as we kind of finish up some scripts. We've got Mists of Deception and Howl out now. So you can see we've actually got our wolves coming out on the sides. And the mists are these little phantasmal warriors, I believe. Right? They just spawn like out of nowhere. See, these little phantasmal warriors. And they're 1 hit points, right? But they're ethereal. And they have poison resistance, which is great. We can foul vapors. But they have a magic attack, right? So these guys are weird annoyances that kind of like come in, and if you don't have magic, you're gonna have a bad fucking time, my man. So we Shrek this. We beat the shit out of this. We spent probably way too many gems on it to do this. Bear this in mind, right? Because if we take a look, right, we loaded up our people with gems in order to try to make sure that we would cover ourselves. Oh, this guy, the Phantasmal Beast. Oh yeah, because you can get. It's not just Phantasmal Warriors. I forgot about that shit. You can get other things. Like this guy he's on our side. He's a phantasm. And you get something like this. He's still only got 1 hit point, right? But you get him in the mix. He'll fucking kill something. He'll kill the shit out of something. That's really cool. That's really cool. I like Mists of Deception there. It's a pretty neat spell. So one pan does try to flee. The other pans are getting swarmed, killed, dead, complete. All right. We spent a lot of gems. What's the death toll? That was a lot of gems, but I gotta say that was worth it. To come out of that fight without a fucking scratch on us. To come out of that fight 100. Nah, we don't give a shit, right? Don't care. We're fine. Now, this is, of course, a pretty unique fight. There's a lot of undead here, which we're very good against. There's almost no centaurs here, as far as we've got 2 white centaurs. If this was a stack of 40 actual centaurs, or heaven forbid, 40 white centaurs, completely different story. We would have taken 150 casualties, right? Completely different story. But goddamn, that was worth it. That was a large expenditure of gems, because if we just jump in real quick, right? For example, we had Crystal Sorceress 15. She's our Fog Warriors caster, right? We take a look at her. She powered the spheres, Fog Warriors, and Thunderfended for us, and so she had like 8 air gems and like 3 astral pearls. She used 2 of the astral pearls and all but 1 of the air gems. So we used a lot of gems in that fight. We probably used close to 50 gems in that fight, realistically, between all of the air elemental summons, the various buffs, the water elemental summons, the earth elemental summons, etc., etc. We used a lot. But to win so commandingly and not take any casualties, right? 1 is a big morale boost, and I think a morale hit. And 2, it affords us the ability to not have to... We don't have to stop and regroup, right? We didn't lose half of our army. That's fantastic. That's phenomenal. We're incredibly happy. Very, very happy. Really cool. And, top it off, we got... Sweet. Fantastic. Actually, who the fuck got that Thistle Mace? I forgot about this. Figure out who has that and steal it. Okay, this Ishib does not need that. Give me that. Get out of here. Okay. What else do we have going on? 630 people have left Troll Peaks. They are being lured away. That's annoying. We've got servants. One of our servants has been tainted by otherworldly energies, given unexpected powers. So I think it's this. Yeah, this guy has a tainted presence now. I don't know if this is gonna result in anything. We'll have to see. I'll probably forget, and then something will happen in many turns from now, and I'll be like, "What the fuck? That's bullshit." But people have revolted, and we have lost a province in Oipera. Where's that? That's actually right over here near Han's capital. So whatever, no big deal. Then we have had an unexpected event in the Cracked Earth. We've got unrest and misfortune. And then rivers have swollen, flooding parts of the land in Kunaral, where we keep losing population between Kohnberg and Kunaral, and it's really unfortunate. That's misfortune for you, though, right? We have been discovered and attacked in White Forest. That's a fucking lot of harpies. So where's this? White Forest? Okay, so over here on this throne, that's sketch. That's just a lot of fucking harpies. Like, holy shit balls. Harpies are not... Harpies suck, right? Super low morale, very easy to kill, etc. But when you have 200 of them, they are size 2, right? They are 6 attacks per square density, right? 6 attack density. You get enough of them going, and they can be scary. 200 is kind of sketch. Like, holy crap. Also, this is a big amount of province defense. This is a scary situation. I would not want to walk into that. We're under siege in Perenna, but we are now repairing the walls faster than they are being broken down, so that's cool. And then we have a new famous hero, Ishib 16 over here in Wick Forest, we made it, boys. We made it to the Hall of Fame. We have one guy on the Hall of Fame. Yeah, yeah. I mean, realistically, with some of the titans as far as nations that we are playing up against, with Pan, Hinam, Lanka, Yomi, it's surprising and challenging to get on the board with an Ishib, right? Like, I can see us getting on the board, very much so getting on the board later on in the game, especially if we can actually get to Tarts, or if we got to Apkalus or something like that. We could get some crazy shit going on with some super combatants. It would be fucking fun. But to get on the board at turn 68, with an Ishib is like, all right, that's cool. So what did he get? He got heroic endurance. He actually recovers from fatigue at an unbelievable rate. So he has an additional built-in 2 reinvigoration, which is really cool because one of the issues that he faces potentially is fatiguing out. So nice. That's fantastic. I'm very happy about that. That's cool. That's just nice to have. So fun stuff. What are we doing? What are we doing this turn? We have to start. Oh, it's 20 minutes into this freaking turn. Oh my god. Yeah, I can't watch all the battles going forward. I'm gonna. We got a lot to talk about. I apologize. We need to start by talking about a development in the board state, because that is going to direct a lot of our focus over the course of the next short term. And that is Pan has conceded, and they have gone AI. Okay. Now I understand they had armies. I am probably the least part of this, by the way. Just throwing that out there. I am probably the least part of this. But they had armies defeated in Titan's Breath Peak and in Hall Woods now. They had armies defeated in Rafabolia. They had armies defeated, I think, in Realm of Silence as well. Hinam has been pushing into their territory. You can see Hinam is all over this section. I believe Hinam is on Tirnanog. Actually, that's what I should target. I was targeting some random scenario. We should target Tirnanog. I believe Hinam is on Tirnanog. Hinam is on Jaburnia. Probably going to be on Kailasa shortly. And I believe Mictlan is now attacking Pangea from the other side. So Pangea has basically determined, look, I'm out. There's not much I can do. I would have loved it if Pangea had continued to fight, weathered the storm, raided the shit out of me, made my life a living hell. But that's okay because the AI might very well do it. So a lot of what our strategy going to be in the near future is going to be making sure we can obtain what land we have access to. We want to get our fair share of Pan, and we want to do it taking as little attrition as possible. And that's going to be hard because we're the ones dealing with Pan. And if we actually look over here, this son of a bitch has a lot of fucking white centaurs here. So that concept earlier where we were talking about, like, if this had been 50 white centaurs, it'd be a different story. We'd have lost half our army. That very well might be happening sooner rather than later. The only hope that I have now is that as the AI tends to make stupider decisions, so I hope that we are going to be able to exploit that and crush their armies without as many losses. So what we're going to be doing is initially we're going to continue raiding. I actually don't like Ishib 16 going all the way over there. It's too little vision. So we're going to continue raiding, trying to make sure that we gain a foothold, and Hinam is not just swallowing up land, Mictlan's not just swallowing up land, because I guarantee that's going to happen, right? They're going to go for everything that they can as quickly as they can. We are claiming the throne in Hallwoods. This is a big deal for us because it is the throne of destiny. It's going to help spread our dominion, which is good, because we want to spread our dominion for the benefits of things like a gift of health. But more so, it's good because it's luck 2 and order 1. Our shit is turmoil 2 and misfortune 2, so this is going to neutral us out with misfortune, which hopefully, hope to God. We've been very fortunate, by the way, of getting good events from Agarthan land and Yomi land, right? But that's not going to last forever, and we're starting to take consistent attrition to our provinces and to our bank accounts, basically. Over the course of this game, it's going to be great to hopefully neutralize some of that misfortune and maybe actually get us some good events in the long run as well. But also, just getting from Turmoil 2 up to Turmoil 1 is going to reduce the penalty to our income. So that's just going to grow our income naturally, and that's fantastic, right? And that's going to continue as we push into the later game. As our provinces get better from the growth that we have, that's going to scale up, and that's very good. So very happy about the Throne of Destiny, very excited to get it capped and go from there. We are also going to be doing a fair amount of site searching. It's all going to be manual site searching, right? So we're site searching for water, air, water 4, earth and nature 3, air 2, astral 2 in Hallwoods. We're not going to bother about site searching, etc., etc. We've got to get Pan's territory under control. Our main focus after this turn, we're researching, we're building a temple here in Hallwoods, we're capping the throne, and we're site searching. And then next turn, we are going to load back up, and we are going to head towards Pan. Hopefully, we are going to get there without too terribly much incident, but the plan will be to aim for Pan, take Pan, and benefit greatly from the surrounding Pan lands. If we actually look at some of the Pan land, we actually have 4 blood slaves per month because there's a slave market here in Wake Forest. So we really want to get to this is one of the other exciting things about taking land in the late game is more often than not that land it has been site searched. So we come into something like World Pillar and we've got an Earth Gem, a Death Gem, and another Earth Gem. So fantastic, right? We will probably, you know what? I say we will probably go around World Pillar, but we have Gift of Health. So if we just march through World Pillar, you know, why would we even do that? We can march through Olantova, through Wick Forest, and then into Pangaea. So we don't even have to march through Pillar. But, so that's going to be our plan, all right, is to aim for Pan sooner rather than later. We're continuing to raid in other areas. I actually do not like raiding over here. I don't like raiding. I don't like the idea of raiding into a situation where we don't have an escape route. So we're going to move over here into the Cracked Earth. We can take a little bit of time. We're about to be done with the walled city here in Titan's Breath. We're wanting to move this army. Unfortunately, we do not have much of an army here. There are 90 units. Very small military presence here. We are recruiting people here and in Kohnberg, but that's only allowing us so much. And because we cannot really, I mean, we can. We're doing it with forging, so I don't know why we're not doing it with rituals. Because we're trying to be more restrained with our ritual casting, etc. It is difficult to build up an army of things like Yetis or Clockwork Soldiers or what have you, right? So we're running into some difficulties there. We are forging. We're using every single freaking hammer we have in the effort to try to make gear that is going to help us win the game. Things like Boots of the Messenger. We would not have had the support that we had with these Gudus if it was not for the fact that we were able to pull mass quantities of Boots of the Messenger and get them into the proper locations. That type of action is phenomenal, right? It is an incredible boon to our military might to be able to do that. So really, really important, really, really cool. So we're gonna risk it for the biscuit. We've got a whole bunch of hammers. We're gonna take some losses over the course of the game. It's gonna happen, but we'll do what we got to do. Next up, we've got to deal with the Perenna issue, but that's mostly gonna be forming an army here in the capital in which shouldn't take us too many turns. We're probably gonna pull in some of these Yetis or something like that. We'll see. And we have an issue looming on the horizon of Femoria, right? I think Femoria's days are numbered between Mictlan repeatedly pressuring Femoria. I think this might actually be the end for them. This is a pretty big army of Oslotls. Although apparently Femoria did have a Wind of Death trap that fucked up Mictlan, which is why Femoria still exists. But I think Femoria is probably going to be on the way out. We're not greedy here. We just want our little slice of the pie. So probably Terenia, Shambolic, and maybe Glistening Dew Forest. And of course we want main claim on Javal Kish, right? So we are putting together an army in for the purpose of that. We're trying to build an army in Titan's Breath Peaks for the purpose of taking Kailasan lands, right? We at least want to take Belagor and maybe take some of these provinces. I don't know if we'll actually get towards Kailasa. I would assume that we have probably forfeited that. We have probably moved too slowly, and I would assume Hinam is probably going to come at us really fucking hard. So, we'll see. We'll have to see. What is up next? Oh, the big deal. This is I've been thinking about this for a while. It's been something that I've bandied back and forth about on a time or two, and I think I'm committing to the decision. So we are going to play a slow game with our Mound Fiends and with Well of Misery and Tartarian Gates. It's not what I want to do, but I think we have to ensure because again, I don't know that I can envision a way for us to win the game in the long run without an ace, right? And I don't know what that ace is, sans something like Tarts, okay? We have Gift of Health. We have the ability to get to Tarts, in theory. So, Tarts it is, right? But if we invest all of this and then lose our Well of Misery caster or our Tart, which is going to have to also be our Tart summoner, right? It'd be one thing if we could afford to Well of Misery and then put that person away and then develop a Tart summoner. But doing that means we're going to have to invest a shit ton into 2 different people, right? Just to get Well of Misery and Tarts going. And we've got a lot of death, but we don't have that much death, right? I don't think that's feasible. So what we are going to do is we are going to go the Lich route. And the reason why we're going to go the Lich route is because my understanding, I was not aware of this before this game, remember, we think back to earlier. If an immortal dies, if they just die, not if they're soul slayed, right? Not if they're, removed from the game. But if an immortal dies, they come back, obviously. But if they had a global, the global remains. because they're not dead. They're coming back, right? We are going to attempt to utilize that to protect our investment. What that will hopefully allow us to do is to create a lich. What we're going to do is we're going to forge a skull staff. And then we have a couple of options, right? We could then empower one of our Mound Fiends and then use that skull staff as a 5 death to summon a lich, which would be 4 death. And then we can go from there, right? Or, and this might be, we might do that. That might be the route that we end up going. Or, we could do this, and this is probably the reason, this is probably what I'm gonna do. This is what I mean when I say we're gonna play the slow game on Well of Misery and Tarts, and that is empowering one of these guys is 60 death gems. And that's a lot of death gems to turn around and then not use that guy for something like Well of Misery or Tarts, right? To then have to turn around and do it to a lich, right? To either make a skull staff and put that on him, and make a skull cap and put that on him, so that he's 6, and then maybe empower him, right? So that he's 7. So we would have to empower, and then, right? So it's a bunch of gems that, like I said, we have gems. We don't have that many gems. That's not gonna be feasible in the long run to then also put up a decent cast Well of Misery so that it doesn't immediately get taken down, etc., etc. That's just not feasible. So what we're gonna do instead is we're going to play a little bit of a slow game. This is going to allow us to accrue more death gems, and on turn 72, early spring, our god should be back. When our god is back in, what is that, 5 turns, basically, we should have pretty close to enough gems for a Ring of Sorcery. We actually have, even, now granted, some of these are from things like the Meteorite Cliffs, or, I don't know, we've got some other stuff in here, right, where we're getting Enchanted Gate, right? We may or may not hold on to these, but we do have about a solid 4 that we will hold on to. So 4 is another 20 or so guaranteed over the course of the next 5 turns. So we're gonna have, even if we're not quite there when our god spawns, we'll be close, right? So what we would want to do is we would want to, now our god is only Astral 4, so we'll have to finagle this a little bit, right? We will have to Crystal Coin. We will have to Starshine Skullcap. And this is where we get into kind of like this might not work out, right? Because our god might get killed by horrors in forging these items. And I mean, then we're talking about like 5 to 10 turns away, because we've got to make multiple items to even be able to make the item that we're looking to make, right? So, but the in-game goal would be to skull staff, right? Got 1 death. Ring of Sorcery, we got 2 death. Put both of those on a Mound Fiend, you've got a death 5 mage. Great, fantastic. Summon a lich, okay? Hope to God, pray to God, dear Lord, that we don't get horrored in that summon, okay? And then we have a lich. Lich is death 4. Put a skull staff, Ring of Sorcery on that lich. You have a death 6. Okay, great, fantastic. Death 6 lets us put up Well of Misery. Well of Misery is now on an Immortal Caster. We can turn around and either empower that Immortal Caster, because at that point we would have 40 gems per fucking turn if we have to empower him for fucking 60 gems, or 70 gems or 80. Who gives a shit? Right, we'll empower the fuck out of him. But right, we could either empower him or we could put a skull cap, forge skull cap, put a skull cap on. Great, fantastic. He is Death 7. Death 7, he tarts every fucking turn from now for the rest of the game. And we should be able to do that easily. The tart thing is actually the easiest. Once we're there, we can spam tarts for the rest of eternity. That's the easiest part of this, realistically. That is not hard in any way, shape, form, or fashion. The hard part is getting there, right? And I say the hard part is getting there. It's literally the only difficult part about any of this is now astral corruption. And I am going to, over the course of the next few turns, I'm going to try to lean on Lanka and lean on Hinam and lean on Relay to please, please, please let us just get astral corruption off the freaking board. But unfortunately, right, I think we're at that point of the game. Mictlan has astral corruption and blood vortex up. If Mictlan wants astral corruption up, it's gonna be up. It's just, we're at that point in the game where blood hunting is so freaking efficient in producing slaves that I don't think there's any real way that even if we as a entire game came together and was like, every turn we will do whatever it takes to keep astral corruption from being up. And one, that's not going to happen because Lanka doesn't care about astral corruption. Bear kind of cares, right? But it's okay. I can work around it. Relay kind of doesn't care, I guess. I care. I'm the only motherfucker who cares. Oh, and it's horrible. Okay, so hopefully we will not have to go through these great lengths to actually achieve this goal. But this is what we are prepared to try to accomplish. And here's part of the reason why I'm willing to try to take the slow roll on this. We are nowhere near close to winning. And I don't think anyone else is. Now that the power of Pan has been broken, I anticipate that the next few turns are going to be mad dashes for land. Hinam, I think, is going to come out of this very powerful. I think they are going to be the next big threat. I am going to be incredibly surprised if Mictlan does not also come out of this with a large swath of land. It might even be possible that they make it to Pan before we do. So we will have to see how that goes. But yeah, I think even with that scenario, it's gonna be a while before I think the end of the game is threatened again. So I think now is the time for us to take that 5-10 turns to set up, to establish a potential win condition for us in the long run. Because if we can get to tarts, right? If we can get to tarts, we've got the tools. We've got the forging ability. We've got the paths. We can turn tarts into monsters. And if we can produce a tart, at least one tart, right, every single turn, we could even try to get to the point to where we're doing more, right? Make another lich, right? Boost that bitch up. We could get to the point to where we're doing multiple tarts a turn. And that could be game breaking, right? So we'll see how it goes. That's the general plan. Fingers crossed that the AI doesn't murder the shit out of me. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.